So I welcome all of you to Kalalgoda English Medium Retreat, Venerable Brother, Dhamma friends. So we are going to start the first Dhamma discussion. So as usual, Chandrika is ready with the written questions. How many questions? 2. So as usual, 2 questions I have received. So then we will start with those 2 questions. Yes. Yeah.
Avsarai Bante, report number 1. Theruvan Saranai. Venerable Bante, practicing Anapanasati, observe both breath in and breath out, long, short. Breathing is subtle and mind become gradually calm. Observe a sequence of breath entering and filling up, then a break, stroke, gap, emptying up and breathe out. Initially rough, now turning smooth on entire sequence when observed well. After effects of practice. Allow distracting thoughts to enter, no entertaining of thoughts, and let go the thoughts out. Sorry, I cannot stand up to identify myself. However, Venerable Sir, your clear explanations gives inspiration. Thank you.
I think since you can't stand up, so anyway, the thing is, so when one is practicing Chittanupassana, so one prerequisite is a fair amount of mindfulness and then clear comprehension, where you can distinctly recognize each and every thought. At the same time, you have the capacity to stay steady in your mindful space. So otherwise, what happens is, even though you recognize various thoughts, without much time, you may carried away or pulled back to the thoughts, and you start thinking. You start participating in a thought process, and you are being driven by thinking. You can't stand up. You can't stand up. Yeah, you can be away. Rather, you being a victim of this whole thinking process. So that's why at the beginning we need certain amount of practice through Kayanupassana or Vedananupassana, so that we are very much like training ourselves. And as we are training ourselves, naturally you start looking at thoughts, and you may understand thoughts are merely thoughts. They are not me, they are not myself, they are not I am. So basically they are merely thoughts. And as a result of that, you maintain that gap. It is not you, but thoughts are there. So where you can simply recognize those thoughts. And as a result of that, they naturally pass away. So they have the inner intrinsic characteristic to pass away. That's it. So you don't need to worry anything, because they have their intrinsic characteristic. If any thought comes, they are destined to pass away, destined to go. So if you are not provided that, you are not promoting it, you are not delighted by that, rather you simply step back and watch it. So if that is successful, then that indicates now thoughts have gone, now your mind is again clean, even without a thought. There may be complete absence of thoughts. So you are resting. So your mind is in a complete rest. Very relaxed, calm, cool. So that is something that we all have. So don't think that is very, very far away skill that I am talking. Everybody of you have that capacity. We as human beings, we have that capacity. But unfortunately, we are very much like addicted to overthinking. Isn't it? So we are very much like addicted to overthinking. Thinking, no stop, going on and on. Unnecessarily we are, occupying our mind. Unnecessarily harboring various trains of thoughts without knowing how to stop. So this yogi, if you can see, so while observing your thoughts, most of the time these thoughts are very much like irrelevant. There is no much value. They are simply coming and going. You don't need to think that they are my thoughts. They are simply merely thoughts and doesn't have any kind of a significance even. So as a result of that, if you understand that fact, then that letting go process become even more natural, because you don't need to worry. You don't need to think, okay, I have let go of a very important thought. It is not like that. So they are merely thoughts. And once you are able to let go of, then you come up with the clarity of the mind. Full presence is there. Don't think that you are going to sleep or to nod or to die or nothing is there. So you are fully aware but no thoughts. So very, very, beautiful area that we all can experience. And then the mind is remaining in silence, in a kind of a beautiful silence, and just enjoy that silence. So that is our inner characteristic. So thoughts are like, I sometimes like to tell them like beggars. So you are at home and certain beggars are coming and, knocking your door, asking this and that. So if you are interested, you can invite them inside. You can give them a good, a buffet, and you can prepare a bed. Or else you can simply do something and quickly let him go. Or even if you think that I don't need to bother right now, simply ignore. So which one you prefer? First, second, third. So that's what we need to see. These thoughts are like beggars in a way. So they are asking our attention. They are requesting our attention. The more we give prominence to them, more we give attention to them and start promoting them, supporting them, they again and again they may come. Say assume that you are feeding a stray cat, stray dogs, like in Nissarana. So we have a huge conflict at Nissarana about stray dogs. That is a typical problem in the old temples and monasteries. So lay people are very generous. They come and donate puppies. So unfortunate thing is, some monks, they start feeding them. And then they start coming closer to the monastery. They start, making huge noise. Other monks are disturbed. They can't meditate. And the monks who are feeding and the monks who don't feed and want to meditate, they are in a fight. So it's a very regular activity at Nissarana. So we know exactly who are feeding. We know exactly who are getting to now get disturbed. So time to time we have to settle all these disputes. But if we are not feeding them, then they simply go on their own way. That's all. So it's a matter of understanding. So if we are feeding our thoughts, they may come more and more. If you are not feeding, then they simply go away, simply disappear. So that's what we need to understand. And as we are doing that, then you may start experiencing calmness, complete relaxation, complete silence. And it is not that you are in a deep meditation. Even while maybe walking, you are in the surface level, no thoughts, fully aware, by the way, not sleep, fully aware, but no thoughts. So yes, please. Yeah, can you come forward, please?
Sorry. Bhante, is only having that, is that enough? Haven't you got to...
Having what?
Having no thoughts at all. I asked this before also. Is that enough? Don't you have to go into Kaya Anupassana, Vedana? No,
that's the thing. So, while you don't have any thoughts, so what are you going to do?
That's the thing. No, now I go... Because of my husband, I go into he has told me Kaya Anupassana and Vedana Anupassana, but I get angry also sometimes.
Good. So it's another thought. Today I myself also got angry.
And now I'm having this backache.
I arranged the vehicles for several days, and but when we were approaching, it was sent somewhere. So we had to wait almost half an hour, 45 minutes, just hanging on, just for the vehicle to arrive. But the other vehicle is also there. He is just hanging on that he didn't want to participate. So I have booked the vehicle for several, weeks now. Sharp mention, it's gone.
What do you do then, Bhante?
No, that's the thing. Interesting thing is, the more we start familiarizing with this no thoughts, that state of mind, then you will understand, okay, these thoughts are merely, temporary glitches or temporary oscillations of the mind. And rather than feeding them, now you simply, whenever thoughts appear, one option is you can see how I promoted in that thoughts. Okay, so there are a huge amount of tendency to promote a person, a personality view, or any kind of a presence of I, presence of an individual. So that is one side related to the thoughts. And another side is most of the thoughts may have either lust, or sometimes maybe hatred, or sometimes mere restlessness. Assume that you ask your little kid, son, you just need to stay quiet on this chair for 1 hour. Can he stay like that?
No.
Can't. He becomes restless and want to jump here, there, and he do start many things. He has nothing to do, simply to sit. Can't do that. Our mind is very similar to that. So if we simply ask the mind, okay, you have nothing to do, no need to think now, everything's fine, you just be quiet. Can't stay. So that is the inner kind of a turmoil is there, inner restlessness is there. So it can't simply stay quiet. It needs something. Like that traditional people, they start chewing betel. Or the modern people, they start chewing gum. They can't keep the mouth just as it is. Similarly, our mind also, we need something to crunch, something to talk, something to think, something to worry. Without it, not good.
So I can be without thoughts for a very long time. Okay. But then how do I, to get on to Kaya Anupassana? Not necessary.
No need. That's the thing.
So now when I have this backache, my husband says to look at it from outside.
No need. So you rent your backache to the doctor. You just mind your own business. No need. So it belongs to the doctor, no? You have nothing to do. So don't develop any kind of a mental resistance. Yes. Because backache is the body, something material, something physical.
Yeah.
So what if you are trying to, occupy that, have develop any kind of a resistance, then you suffer. During the Vedananupassana, of course, we say, okay, if you have a backache, then you can observe that, then you can develop. But when a yogi is capable of keeping one's mind completely free from any kind of an attachment, so that is the area we need to promote. No need to go back to back pain, no need to go back to the breath or rising and falling or any of these, because you already have the capacity. You already have the capacity to simply keep the mind without any kind of an object. It's very much like, say, you take off after going very loudly, very speedily on the runaway, and when the plane take off, we need to simply keep it on the air.
Right.
Very much like that. So once we develop fair amount of understanding through our Kayanupassana practice, Vedananupassana practice, Chittanupassana practice, Dhammanupassana practice, the result is this. Result is what? Unattached nature of the mind. Simply keep it there. As much as possible you do there. Interesting thing is, till we have some amount of influxes, asavas, and the latent tendencies, again and again, naturally it will grasp. Naturally it will go through at least a little bit of stress, little bit of anger, little bit of lust, this restlessness. All are the presence of the hindrances. And the important thing is, at that moment you need to observe that when the hindrances are present, other time you just relax. So that's why as we move forward in Vipassana, the practice becomes more easier in a way. But on the other hand, it's difficult because the defilements are very subtle.
That's the thing.
Yeah. So defilements are very subtle. In that sense, it is not easy. You need a very careful attention to recognize, how eye making happens in a subtle way, how self-promotion, promotive thoughts are happening, how little bit of your desire is represented in a little way in a particular thought.
Eye making is the thing.
Yeah. So likewise, very, very subtle way, still certain amount of delusion is there, certain amount of anger, hatred and lust, all these things are there, but in a very little, little dose. So those are the things that we need to slowly, carefully abandon. But if the mind is remaining calm, relaxed, quiet, no attachment, no huge attachment, just keep it. So very much like we are developing the equanimity. You know the upekka sambojjhanga. So equanimity, enlightenment factor. So that is the, as we move forward, that represents the maturity. So either in samatha, either in vipassana, so most mature levels, deeper levels are equanimous. Not rapturous or sorrowful at all, but equanimous. So you just rest in the equanimity. Just relax.
Much merit, Bhante.
Yeah.
Can you please give this child?
Report number 2. Dear Bhante, as I understand that there are 16 steps in Anapanasati Sutta, kindly explain that the 7th step, breathing in and out, sensitive to mental fabrication. Thank you, with metta.
7th. Actually, here the 7th is not mental fabrications. You know that the four steps, the first 4 steps are onto Kayanupassana. Digangva asasanto, digang asasamiti pajanat. Kind of a duet is there, right? Okay, dual, what's that? 2? Maybe a pair is there. In-breath and out-breath. I'm just mentioning the in-breath side. Then the rasangva asasanto, that means breathing short. Then sabbakaya patisangvedi. So knowing the full body or knowing the full breath, complete cycle. Then the 4th one is passambhayang kaya sankharang, where you are subsiding or relaxing, calming down all bodily formations. That means anapana, ashasa and prasasa. The in-breath and out-breath. So everything is calmed down. Now the body is relaxed, not much kind of a resistance coming from the body, and you might not even sometimes feel the body. That's very much like the body part. Then we reach the Vedananupassana. That is where Buddha say, Piti patisangvedi asasi samiti sikkati, Sukha patisangvedi asasi samiti sikkati. So they are all very much to the feeling part. Gross level of feelings. Say, body going through certain amount of rupture, maybe pleasure, or certain amount of pain, and the mind goes through a certain amount of very happy, comfortable situation. So all are representing certain amount of pleasurable feelings, happy feelings. Vedananupassana. Then the 3rd one, as you are asking the 3rd one, the 7th, is what we call Chitta Sankhara Patisangvedi Asasi Samiti Sikkati. So Chitta Sankhara, literally you can translate it as mental formations, but actually it represents Vedana and Sanya. So Vedana, Sanya are the intrinsic or most primitive aspect of our mind. So that is where you are carefully observing the mind, and they are particularly given emphasis to Vedana and Sanya. So it's still in the Vedana part. So there are certain feelings, but maybe some mental feelings. You know, the happiness, it's another feeling. Maybe little sorrow, another feeling. Still you are in the feeling level. The feelings are either bodily or mental feelings. Now we are very much like observing the mental feelings. So at that moment, say you recognize those feelings, bodily feelings already maybe fairly calm now, and now maybe a little bit of happiness, unhappiness, sorrow, and all that feeling tone. And as you recognize that also become equanimous. And then the sanya part is also possible. Sanya means various perceptions or various signs or stains occupy in your mind. Say certain images coming and occupying your mind. So that also you need to recognize, and that also has to be let go of. Passambhayan chitta sankharang asasi samiti sikkati. So that is the last one in the Vedananupassana section, where as a result of your practice, now that also calms down, that also relax. Now you completed Vedananupassana, very much like. And then chitta patisangvedi asasi samiti sikkati. That is the first part in the chittanupassana, chitta patisangvedi. Now you are trying to be aware of the mind totally. What are the thoughts coming and going and all that, chitta patisangvedi. Then abhippamodayan chittang asasissamiti sikkati. That means you are in a way making yourself happy and calm, relax, and say body, everything's fine. It has almost like relaxing, calming, almost like disappeared. No huge feelings, no pains. So very much like you are now happy about it. You embrace that. Encourage that. Abhippamodayan chittang. Then Buddha say, samadhahan chittang asasissamiti sikkati. That means you keep it cool, keep it calm. Not many thoughts now. Yeah, cooling down, calming down. And the ultimate result is the eighth one, rather the 12th. Last one in the Chittanupassana, it is called Vimochayan Chittang Asasissamiti Sikkati. So you are relinquishing everything, mind become free. You are experiencing freedom. Now where are you going to keep your mind? What is your object? This is no object. How about looking at the breath? No need. How about looking at any other pain or feelings? Huh? Yeah, exactly. Then you are, reversing your development. No need. So you have gone through a very beautiful step-by-step process. Say you are in the Kayanupassana, calm down all the bodily formations. Body has gone very much like. You are observing various feelings, that also calm down, relax. Now you are observing various thoughts, little ones, that also understood, relinquish everything. You achieve the freedom of mind. That is the 12th result. So the other last 4 parts belong to Dhammanupassana, actually can be applicable to the body, to the feelings and to the mind, to see more about the impermanence. Aniccanupassi asasissamiti sikkati. Viraganupassi, that means you are now dispassionate about this whole conditioned phenomena. Viraganupassi. Nirodhanupassi, you see they are passing away and you may now very much like resting in the cessation. You are relaxing in the cessation. Nothing is there, just emptiness. You are relaxing, just resting. Take calm down, cooling. And then the last one, Nirodhanupassi, Patinissagganupassi. Patinissagganupassi asasissamiti sikkati. Where whenever any kind of formation, any kind of phenomena happens, you recognize it, let it go, and plunge back into the emptiness. That's it. So it's a very beautiful way that Buddha, that's why Buddha again and again emphasize. So this is the best way of practicing Anapanasati. It has many tremendous amount of benefits. So this is a recipe made by the Buddha, I would say. So very beautifully blended Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana into it in a more, kind of a shortcut manner. So you can develop Kayanupassana using Anapanasati as your primary object. Then you can develop Vedananupassana after going through the Anapanasati, but now observing feelings. You can develop Chittanupassana after going through Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, starting from Anapanasati, but now you are observing the mind. So likewise, as a stepwise kind of systematic approach, ultimately end up with Vimochayan Chittang. So you freeing your mind, nothing's there. So Chitta Sankhara, your question, is representing Vedana and Sanya, feelings and perceptions, signs, stains happening in your mind. So more you recognize, that also calms down, relaxing, just rest. So that's the last question. So just rest. It depends on you. It depends on your practice.
Dear Bhante, I would like to just explain and verify the process that I'm going through. in sitting meditation. Basically, I initially start with let the body to do breathing.
Definitely.
So then,
otherwise it will die.
Yeah. So I'm just away from that, and the body to do breathing, and then I go to the breath in and out. Is it correct?
Now you are already allowing the body to breathe.
That process observing. On. Yeah.
So what is the second stage you are doing?
Then I get into the body, like say whatever the feelings and from the pain or whatever, and then those things basically disappear. That's where I am now.
Okay. After that, what are you going?
So now still I'm practicing that area.
Okay, I think you are doing well. It's okay. I mean, you do a little bit of anapanasati and then you allow various sensations to happen and you recognize them, and now they also disappearing almost like.
Yeah, but at the same time I get some thoughts, but
thoughts
now
if you're confident, now look at them as well.
Yeah, but I basically aware of that, and then it goes, let it go. That's it actually. The next part I may have to concentrate.
No, I think you need to simply continue this whole thing.
Yeah.
So then the feelings calm down, relaxing and disappear.
Yeah.
And as we just discussed, even the thoughts disappear and you start resting. Start basically experiencing nothing.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
So at that time, certain obstacles can happen. One thing is you might have doubts. Yes. Then the vichikicha can come.
Yeah.
And the other thing is you can fall asleep. There's nothing to do. And another thing is you can get distracted because there is no huge, place for the mind to stay and to catch hold. So mind can go here and there, can get scattered. But the important thing is you are letting go everything and keep in the mind without any object, without any attachment, and simply, allowing it to be still. Now typically say I have 10 objects, so then I have the possibility of attaching to 10 objects. Say if you have 100 objects, then you have the possibility to attach to 100 objects. If you have 1,000 objects, you have the possibility to attach to 1,000 objects. If you have no object, nothing to attach. Simply stay quiet, still. So mind become, stopped. Very much like. Assume that all of a sudden, so you are going here and there, going here and there, going here and there. All of a sudden, boom, stopped. You may feel that even. Sometimes yogis may feel that. So they were observing very quick, subtle changes in the mind, certain coming and going of various thoughts. All of a sudden, nothing is there.
Now
they get shocked.
Now in this process, that what you explained, that 16 steps, that will covers the entire process, right?
Exactly. That 16 steps, in a way, kind of an essence of the practice. Yes. Actually, that's why Buddha mentioned, so these 16 steps represent Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana. Not only that, each section is Anupassana, each Satipatthana contributes towards the enlightenment factors. 7 enlightenment factors, 7 bojjhangas. And further you are developing the enlightenment factors, then it contributes to Vijja Vimutti, that the understanding and the freedom. Very beautifully explained in the Anapanasati Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya.
Yeah, actually, before the 7th, there is a one step called concentration of body fabrication also.
That is coming under the Kayanupassana. Kayanupassana, the 4th stage.
Yeah.
Passambhayang Kaya Sankharang Asasissamiti Sikkati. So that is where you allow the bodily formations to calm down. So bodily formations are the in-breath and out-breath. Actually, these things are explained. What are the bodily formations? That means the Kaya Sankhara, Assasa Passasa, in-breath and out-breath. And what are the mental formations? Chitta Sankhara, that is Vedana and Sanya. So that information is actually included in the Chula Vedalla Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya. Venerable Dhammadinna is answering the question to Visakha So Visasaki is asking, what is noble lady, this Chitta Sankhara? Then Dhammadinna, the Arahant Therani, so she is replying Vedana Sanya. What are the bodily formations? Kaya Sankhara. So she is answering Asasa Passasa, in breath and out breath. So that's why, I mean, sometimes we might, get confused. Mental formations, thinking that thoughts are more, typically thoughts are called Vitakka Vichara and the Mano Sankhara. The term Mano Sankhara is more gross when compared to the Chitta Sankhara. Chitta Sankhara is more primitive. It represents Vedana and Sanya. Mano Sankhara is more gross level.
Mental formation and mental fabrication, is that the same?
Maybe two different things. Fabrication comes where you do a lot of manipulations, lot of additions, subtractions, multiplications, and in the mind has the capacity to diversify things. It's, how to say?
You mean to say generate things on top of, right? Kind of a thing.
And diversifying.
Right.
That is papancha. Okay. One intrinsic characteristic of papancha. Yeah. So our mind has a capacity to diversify things. Not well directed onto a certain direction. Yeah. But goes thoughts on many directions. You think on the past, you think the future, you think about what you have seen, you are thinking about what you have heard, what you have cognized, again in the past. No proper organization. It is not organized thinking. Completely scattered way of thinking, going to many directions. So diversification happening in our mind.
Yeah. That's what I asked that question on the seventh one. It says mental fabrication.
The question is mental fabrications?
Yeah.
I got it as mental formations.
Can I get the note? Yeah, because this is what I checked that. It's the mental fabrication.
Mental fabrication is a different thing.
Fabrication is a bit more complex, I suppose.
Yeah, mental fabrication is more another level, more grosser level.
Yeah, that's right.
More grosser level.
Right.
So we can simply say as papancha. Fabrication is a papancha, where it's a proliferation. So you are thinking too much, overthinking and imagining, rumination, all that comes under the fabrications, mental fabrications. Not focused and scattered, distracted, and you lose your control and you are simply a victim of the overthinking.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's correct. It says breathing in and out sensitive to mental fabrication.
Breathing in and out?
Sensitive to mental fabrications.
Now, fabrication is not the proper translation. Mental formations may be,
that's right.
reasonable, because the Pali word is Chitta Sankhara. Maybe mental formations. And that mental formations, because some scholars and some monks have different terms put it there. I think Katurunde Jnananda Thero, I think he's putting something different. Because formations also very gross level. Maybe preparations, very subtle preparations happening in the mind. I need to check. Maybe we can check. You can check what's the Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation. Is it coming from Bhikkhu Bodhi?
No, not from Bhikkhu Bodhi.
So his translation is also very good. So you can check what is Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation for the Ānāpānasathi Sutta Majjhima Nikāya. What is his translation for this seventh step? Chitta Sankhara Patisangvedi Asasi Samiti Sikkati. I think he might have put mental formations.
Going ahead with the same process, right?
Sorry, Satipatthana?
That Bhikkhu Bodhi? Yeah, Bhikkhu Bodhi also explained about meditation on Satipatthana. So I think this must be overlapping with that, is it? This the seventh process?
No, actually that's why. So Ānāpānasathi Sutta explain how to develop all four Satipatthanas using Ānāpānasati. So all Satipatthanas are included here.
Yeah. The mind part of that, right? Mind.
All. That's why. That's why in the 16 steps,
Yeah.
first 4 steps talking about Kayanupassana.
Yeah.
Second 4 steps talking about Vedananupassana. Third 4 steps about the Chittanupassana. Last 4 steps about Dhammanupassana. That's how it is divided.
Okay.
Yeah. So all these things are explained in the Anapanasati Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, and you can refer. There is one Mitrigala monk also have prepared one book.
No, actually, I read 2 things. Bhikkhubodhi's Satipatthana plus this translation of Anapanasati. So
Okay.
that I was trying to sort of find the cohesiveness of this.
Right.
We received another report just now, Bhante.
Right.
Report number 3. Theruvan Saranai, Most Venerable Bhante, sitting meditation. Even though I started meditation at Kalalgoda about 8 months ago, I could continue it only for 3 to 4 months. I always prefer walking meditation than sitting meditation. Sitting meditation is done only at Kalalgoda. I get body aches, especially back pain, when I try to do sitting meditation at home. Today in the morning, I could meditate for just over 1 hour. I was concentrating well on rising and falling of abdomen, and it was successful. Bhante, please guide me in continuing on sitting meditation.
So please do it. So if it is successful here, then you need to find out why you can't do it at home. Because the same body. Maybe the chair, or maybe if you are practicing here in the outside, is it more comfortable? Or at home you are in a more covered room like of thing? Is it the difficult reason, the cause for your failure? You need to compare and see why I am successful sitting meditation in Kalalgoda, why not at home? What's the exact reason? Is it the noise, or is it the chair, or something that you need to understand for you to explore? Is it yours? Yeah. You miss guided meditation. Maybe I can give you a recording. You can play it at home also. That's also a good thing, because sometimes you need the initiation, launching part.
That's I'm just at my initial stage. Of course, I can continue with walking meditation, no problem.
Right.
The sitting meditation only so when I am not successful.
So after walking, what are you doing? Try
to do, yes. But I can't continue more than 10-15 minutes.
So
I get aches and pains.
Get distracted?
Yes.
So at the end of the walking meditation, are you feeling comfortable? I mean, you feel the mind is more with yourself?
Yes.
So you get that feeling?
Yes.
Where are you sitting? On a chair?
Yes,
at home?
on a chair. On a chair.
Same chair?
Yeah, I bought this type of chair also.
Good. Maybe the secret is there. Probably, I mean, if you need a little bit of guidance, then you can play a recording, and then it may have a silent period in the recording, and then you are back to the typical track.
Yes, I will try. Yes.
Sometimes at the beginning only. I mean, these things are minor things.
Yeah.
Once you are developing yourself, you don't need it at all. You don't need the guidance. You can simply start your own. But at the beginning, maybe a little bit of, promoting, a little bit of encouragement, that type of thing. Yes. Keeping you on the correct track, putting yourself in the correct track. So maybe you can try playing a record just before sitting, so that you are slowly, stepwise, you are coming to your body, and then slowly recording stop and you start meditating.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
So any more questions? Yes. Yeah.
Regarding the 4 steps in Kayanupassana that you mentioned in the Anapanasati Sutta, but then what I experience is I experience long breath. and
I experience long breath.
yeah, then the short breath.
Right.
And is it the third stage that I feel that I'm breathing, but I cannot recognize whether it's in or out?
Good. That's all right. That's good. So that indicates that you are now losing the boundaries and marks and all that. No problem at all.
Then the breath become very subtle and even can't recognize whether I'm breathing or not.
Good.
Are those the 4 steps in that Kayanupassana?
No, that's the thing. Now, you don't need to precisely recognize sometimes, whether I'm in the first stage or am I in the second stage. Then you are thinking. No need to think like that, or you need to, tally the exact stages mentioned in Anapanasati while you are meditating. So let it evolve naturally. So to some area you get resembled. You may be sometimes the thing is, you may simply skip certain stages and come to the last.
Yeah.
It will happen naturally.
So sometimes
you may not go through every time each and every step. Slowly you may skip first step, maybe skip second step. You simply start watching the beginning, middle, end. All of a sudden you are back into the last step.
No,
it is possible.
Yeah, because I wanted to know, because sometimes when I cannot recognize in breath and out breath, I try to forcefully recognize it.
No.
Because I thought that I'm not concentrating enough to understand that there is a difference. So.
No need. No, at the beginning, thing is this, like this. Now, at the beginning, say you as a beginner when you start, so your mind get distracted. Then you miss many breaths. Then later you are slowly being mindful. Now the misses become less. So you are able to comprehend each and every breath. And later, now your clear comprehension further improves. Then you can recognize, this is exactly the in-breath, this is exactly the out-breath. No missing, no any kind of confusion. You are fully very sure about it. Then as you further improve, now you understand from which nostril it is going on, from which nostril it is going out, whether it is the beginning, the middle, the end, whether it is subtle or gross, long, short, and all that different little characteristics you can comprehend. That is an improvement. But it doesn't mean you are going to the infinity of information. At one stage, turn back. You come to a certain amount of information and then you start coming back where no information is available. You can't recognize the difference. As you mentioned, now you can't recognize whether it's the in-breath or the out-breath. You can't recognize, you can't distinguish. And at that moment, you don't need to, forcefully breathe or forcefully analyze it. That is also not necessary. So it's a matter of now let it simply fade away, relax, calm, and it ultimately disappear. But you have to be quiet, you have to be awake, not to fall asleep, fully awake, without any much of a breathing, even very much. You can't feel breathing. That's the last stage, the 4th stage, so where you are allowing the mind to calm down, relax, and enjoy that. At that moment, if you sometimes feel happiness, rapturous, that's also possible. Later, as you are enjoying that, almost like no breathing, no bodily formations, no aches, pains and everything, you feel very comfortable. So as you are enjoying that, then mind become more concentrated and mind become more joyful. And you can recognize that, this is a joyful feeling. That is the Vedananupassana part. So rather than you being appreciating and holding the pleasurable feeling, you can step back and see, this is a feeling. This is a pleasurable feeling. This is a painful feeling. Now you are practicing Vedananupassana. Likewise. Yeah.
I would like to add some ingredient to the same thing, because
right.
I also feel the same way.
Right.
But so it is getting diminishing, whether I take a breath or not, it's disappearing
Right.
Then I stay for some time in that stage.
Right.
And then again I remind, breathing. So it goes a long breath,
Right.
So it comes down and it goes in this particular cycle.
Right. It's okay.
At the same time, the body feeling also that I experience after some
Feelings are
time.
there?
Yeah. Pains or pains mostly.
I mean, if you can recognize that also, then it will contribute a little bit more. Because all these are various conditioned phenomena, that the more you understand them, the wisdom growing. But ultimate result is letting go, by the way.
So that in that case you can be in that particular state, right?
Yeah. Rather than you are keeping your attention at the nostril, now you can switch to the feeling where it is and see how that feeling evolves and how it disappears. And likewise, if there are more feelings available, you can observe them. If nothing is there, you can come back to breath. And even now, slowly look at the mind. Slowly in the Chittanupassana part. Because it naturally develops. So maybe within the same sitting, as we are continuing our practice, within the same sitting, you may be able to step by step go to the 3 stages. Starting with Kayanupassana, then switching to Vedananupassana, then ending up with Chittanupassana. That is possible. Yeah, someone else.
Avasarai Bhante.
Yeah.
My question is also kind of, I sometimes am at a stage where I'm quite peaceful. I see thoughts coming and going, but there isn't any this joy or anything like that. But not that I'm looking for it either. Then I come out of it, but there is obviously some attraction to keep going back to that.
Going back to what?
To just sitting and starting off with the breath and then coming to a state of like peace. But it's just that.
No, that's the thing. So that's why I like to inform that while definitely add the walking part also. The walking side, try to develop more mindfulness and wisdom, because the sitting side is more inclined towards samadhi, inclined towards concentration. It's a kind of a drawback in the sitting. But in the walking part, you can more give prominence to clearly knowing each and everything, what's going on, what are the thoughts coming, and what are the sensations happening. But ultimately, when you are practicing the same thing, again you may end up with the emptiness. It has to come to the same thing. But fully aware, by the way, your eyes are wide open. While eyes are open, mind is empty. That you need to experience, that is only possible very much in the walking at the first stage. So therefore, that is the area you are further growing now. So that's why don't limit yourself only to sitting. Rather, continue your walking practice and recognize all different sensations, how they are coming and going. And then maybe you are looking at various thoughts also. And they also coming and going. And maybe sometimes absence of thoughts. Can you walk while keep the mind empty, without any thoughts? So those are the experiments that we need to see. Now you are simply walking, body is walking, but mind has nothing. Mind remains calm. Mind very much like stands still, but the body is walking. You imagine, what a beautiful way. Now these are very beautiful, isn't it? Now, how the hell body can walk without mind has any thought? I mean, logically you can't even think about that. So people might argue, okay, you need a thought. Every time you need to have a thought. How a man live without a thought? So this is the typical understanding people are having. But Buddha shows a different path where thoughts are merely beggars. Those are merely thoughts, passengers. You can have an empty bus. Yeah. Okay, we have 5 more minutes. If there are no questions, then we can wind up the session. And we'll have the Dhamma sermon at 4 p.m. as usual. So thank you very much for participation.